good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Global Goals Awards. Now, if we had nothing more planned after that spellbinding performance for the beautiful mind of Sherry Silver, I think we'd all agree that it has still been a great night out, right? Yeah, absolutely. Now, last year she was choreographing, of course, Childish Gambino's chart-topping This Is America music video. So I think we can all agree that she's officially the coolest person in this room. All right, UN General Assembly crowd, you're also cool, and I mean really, really cool. I don't want you walking out on me, all right? But there's still lots more to come, and it is my absolute honor and pleasure to be your host tonight. My name is Tumelo Mototwane. I have traveled over 8,000 miles from South Africa to join you tonight. I am a news, yeah. I'm a news and current affairs anchor. But let me tell you this, Tumelo is a Pedi name, which means faith. And my mother tells me that there were 3 stillborns in my family before I was born. When my mother fell pregnant with me, my grandmother named me Tumelo, which means faith, because she believed that through faith I would survive. Now, as I grew into womanhood, this being my 28th year in existence, I chose not only to survive, but to live with intention. A personal intention for Africa to have a global voice through media. And now, a shared intention with all of you goalkeepers to ensure that we uphold the global goals. Now, if you haven't heard about the global goals, I'd now like you to just get up from your seat and leave. All right, this party's over. Bye. Sorry, sir, the door. Okay, I'm just joking. All right. But let me just say a few words about them. The global goals are why we're all here tonight. There are 17 of them, and we've got to reach them by 2030. And they cover everything that matters. That means climate change, gender, poverty, and so much more. And every single country in the world agreed to them. So we've got world leaders right where we want them. So let's all agree right now to help hold them accountable. We have a lot of work to do, especially because sustainability is pretty much like sex. Okay, there I said it. Everybody's doing it, very few actually are doing it. Some don't know what they're doing, but claim to be doing it, but they're doing it badly. Don't ask me how I know. I just do. But collectively, these goals represent the ambition to create a decent life for all 7 billion people and counting living on Earth. Look at that number. That's a lot of people. A decent life not just for those who can afford it, not just for those who had an education or for those who got vaccinated, not just for the boy child or just for girls. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's for everyone. One of the biggest factors stopping us from achieving these goals is inequality. Inequality is essentially the thing that separates the lucky from the unlucky. And I'll give you an example. Where you are born makes more of a difference for your future than anything else. And no matter where you are born, your life will be harder if you are born a girl. Now that is inequality. But after tonight, when people ask us, can inequality be beaten? We tell them, yes, that's right. When people ask us whose responsibility is inequality, let's tell them it's yours. It's all ours. When people ask us what is inequality, let's tell them it's what's holding us all back. When people ask us, is inequality inevitable? We tell them, no, absolutely not. It is a real honor to be a part of Goalkeepers, and I truly admire all of you in this audience for not only dressing up so glamorously, but also for stepping up alongside Bill and Melinda Gates and for stepping forward to fight for what is right. And tonight is proof of battles won, solutions being found, and partners coming together. I can't wait for you to meet tonight's winners, but first, I would like to introduce you to a woman who published her first book this year. A book that chronicles her journey from a nerd at an all-girls school in Dallas to fighting for gender equality at the world's largest foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, Melinda Gates.
Well, Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 4th Annual Goalkeepers Awards. Back in 2015, when the world committed to these Sustainable Development Goals, Norway's Prime Minister Erna Solberg did something that world leaders don't usually do. She quoted Elvis Presley, and she said, "A little less conversation and a little more action." Tonight, we're here to celebrate Erna's and Elvis's words. We're here to celebrate those who've taken action. But also like Elvis, we're here to do a little bit more dancing and a little more music. But don't worry, it will not be Bill or I singing or dancing. I promise you that. You don't want to see that. But we want to make sure that we really celebrate tonight, because Bill and I realize that so often we go out and meet people who are doing this astounding work and who devoted their lives to fighting poverty and disease and inequality. And we know that you all don't often take time to celebrate. And so that's what we're here to do tonight. We hope you enjoy this evening. You deserve it. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce a woman whose job description literally includes taking action. AMINA MOHAMMED.
Melinda, Bill, distinguished goalkeepers, ladies and gentlemen, it's fantastic to be with you this evening. This is truly a room that is filled with activists and artists, world and community leaders, all of you in the room, and you're cherished supporters of the UN, committed to building a more just and equitable world. I want to offer a few of my thoughts on what I think it takes to address global inequality and achieve the SDGs. So the answer is quite simple: courage. Lots of courage, potloads of it. Courage to stand up for human rights and to stand against those who oppose our path to gender equality. Courage to push for financial inclusion and universal access to basic services, the very basic services that are not charity, they're rights. Courage to recognize that despite its many benefits, our current model of development is simply not delivering for everyone, and so we do need a fair globalization. Courage to engage the skeptics and challenge the political interests that are hindering an inclusive and sustainable development. Courage to act. Earlier today, the Secretary General issued a global call for a decade of action to deliver on the SDGs by 2030. This call is for each and every one of us to walk the talk. As goalkeepers, your courage and action can make a critical difference in everyone's life, and we must never give up, and we must never give in. We must never leave anyone at all behind. The UN will remain your close ally in this work as we go forward. And with that in mind, it is my great pleasure to present the Global Goals Changemaker Award. But before we do that, and welcome the winner to the stage, let's see what they've been up to.
Leader, Child Rights Champion.
My name is PAYAL JANGID and I am a goalkeeper.
बड़ा गांव है और इसमें हमें बहुत सारी समस्याएं हैं कि यहाँ तक कि लड़कियों को बाहर नहीं जाने दिया जाता। इस गांव की लड़कियों का भी जल्दी ही बाल विवाह हो जाता था और स्कूल में हमारे पास वही स्कूल है जहां से मैंने बाल पंचायत शुरू की और जहां पर सभी बच्चों ने मुझे सरपंच चुना और हम रैलियां निकालते थे। सभी बच्चे पूरे गांव में चक्कर लगाते थे, दीवारों पे लिखते थे, लोगों को घर घर जाके समझाते थे कि हमें भी कुछ ज़रूरतें ऐसी हैं जो कि होनी चाहिए। तो उन्होंने भी हमें समझा और आज वो हमारी बात सुनते हैं। हमने उन सभी बच्चों को स्कूल से जोड़ा। इस दुनिया में जितने भी बच्चे हैं जो शिक्षा से वंचित हैं और जिन बच्चों का शोषण होता है, उनके साथ ऐसा न हो और प्रत्येक बच्चे को शिक्षा मिले और समाज में उन्हें आगे बढ़ने का मौका दिया जाए।
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage PAYAL JANGID.
यहाँ पर
Good
उपस्थित
evening to
सभी
everyone
गणमान्य
present here
लोगों को
tonight.
मेरा सादर नमस्कार।
I
आज
cannot
इस मंच
express
पर
in words
खड़े होने
the
का
honor that
जो
I
मुझे
have
गौरव
received
हासिल हुआ है,
today in
उसको
this
मैं शब्दों
stage.
में बयां नहीं कर सकती। इस
I would
पुरस्कार
like to
और
thank
सम्मान के लिए मैं
Bill
बिल और
and
मेलिंडा
Melinda Gates
गेट्स
from my
दिल से
heart.
आभारी हूँ।
Thank them.
आज
Today,
जब
as
मुझे
I receive
ये
this
सम्मान
honor,
मिल रहा है,
I think
मेरे जहन
about
में
the
उन
hundreds
हजारों बच्चों
of
की
children
तस्वीरें
who are
तैर
still
रही हैं,
fighting
जिनका आज भी
the evil
बाल
of
विवाह
child
हो रहा है।
marriage.
मेरे गुरु
My mentor,
भाई साहब जी,
Shri
श्रीमान
Kailash
कैलाश
Satyarthi
सत्यार्थी
and
भाभी जी,
Srimati
श्रीमती
Sumedha Kailash gave me an opportunity to work towards a child-friendly society.
मौका प्रदान किया।
My journey from Hinsla to New York is possible because of them. I am what I am is because of them. I am elated to see them in front of me today. Today, I also thank my parents and friends who have supported me throughout in working towards my goal of a child-friendly society. I come from a remote village of Rajasthan named Hinsla. My parents come from a very poor family. They are laborers and never saw the school. However, today their daughter is pursuing graduation because of Bachpan Bachao Andolan. It is a dream come true for children like me. To eradicate social evils like child marriage from the roots, I worked tirelessly as the head of the Children's Parliament. I not only stopped my own child marriage, but also stopped most of the marriages in my own village. And I'm very proud to say that no child marriages happen in my village now. I worked towards my village, a nearby area, and make the child labor and child marriage free. To stop all the social evils, I, along with my friends, organized rallies, protests, and demonstrations. We spent hours in convincing parents and elders against the crime and the social evil of child marriage, and it became possible. I urge all of you to unite and stand for child rights. The steps that we take today and hereafter will help us end all forms of exploitation and promise a free, safe, and educated world for not only the current generation, but all the generations to come. Every young person is a change maker. It is all about giving an opportunity.
I am a change maker. Will you join me?
Congratulations to you, Payal. Now, our next presenter is a writer, a director of many famous films, the co-founder of the fundraising phenomena Red Nose Day, and a passionate campaigner for the goals. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the UN advocate for the global goals, Richard Curtis.
Good evening. I have mixed feelings about award ceremonies because in my movies day I went to so many and won so few. My worst was I thought I'd won an Oscar for about a quarter of a second. Because the only time I was ever nominated for an Oscar was for a film called 4 Weddings and a Funeral, and he said, no, and he said, and the winner is FORE, and I thought, it's us. But then it was Forrest Gump, unfortunately. Anyway, it's very nice tonight to be giving an award to a worthy winner for a change. I don't know if you've watched it recently, but it's aged badly, I think, the Gump. But it's such an honor to be here today. I have a daughter who's a campaigner now, and I feel as though the next generation and generation below are setting us such an extraordinary example in making all our work seem worthwhile and meek in comparison. In the spring of 2011, most of Ayar Chebbi's classmates were in the library studying, the ones for their final exams, the ones they needed to pass to graduate university, but Ayar was not there. She was volunteering at a refugee camp on the border of Tunisia and Libya. Ayar has always been a proud Tunisian, but that was the time when she felt that she had an obligation to her whole continent. That was the moment, she said, that I thought I have to do something for Africa. Over the past decade, Ayar hasn't just done something, she's done lots of things. As the founder of the Africa Youth Movement, she's continued to help others cross borders, bridging the divide between young people living in the north and south of the Sahara. She's also the African Union's youngest appointed diplomat. She's a photographer, she's an essayist, she's a documentary filmmaker who uses her work to amplify the voices of women and girls. And before we welcome her on stage, I think we should look at a little film about this extraordinary woman.
Pan-African feminist.
My name is Aya CHEBBI, and I am a goalkeeper.
What I have been doing for the past 8 years is to build a massive intersectional feminist youth-led movement where African youth unite around their Pan-African identity and move into a collective action to advance the continent as one. After around 6 years of organizing forums, platforms, convenings, hubs in different countries, we have reached 10,000 young people in about 42 countries in Africa, and that's how Africa Youth Movement was born. For me, the dream would be to see a united youth who are in leadership, who are in governance, who are driving the economy and the politics of our continent. I champion all the Sustainable Development Goals, but I think the goal that I work on the most is Goal 17 on partnerships, bringing people together and building a movement, bringing African youth closer to the AU and the AU closer to African youth.
Between today and the end of the century, almost as many children will be born in Africa as in the other 6 continents combined. It'll be the youngest and biggest continent in the history of the world, and they will need leaders, and I think we're just about to give our award to one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my real honor to give the campaign award this year to Ayar CHEBBI.
What's up, goalkeepers? Good to see you. Thank you to the Bill Melinda Gates Foundation for this award. I'd like to dedicate this award to African youth who are the everyday campaigners on the front line. And yet their work and the risk they take go often unrecognized. I started my activism in my country, Tunisia, and my continent, Africa, because I refused that my gender and age define me as subject, not driver of development. I joined international diplomacy because I refuse that others speak for us as if we don't have a voice, think for us as if we don't have brains, we don't have experiences, we don't have history, and even dare to decide for us as if we do not have will. I think for me, the most important aspect of my work is identity and is speaking up for what's right, because we're not subjects or objects. We know exactly what we want as African youth. I campaigned and built movements that unite, mobilize young people around nonviolent activism, around Pan-Africanism, leadership, especially the most vulnerable, because we live in a world where the most vulnerable is disfranchised and humiliated based on religion, ethnicity, and nationality. We live in a world where politicians fuel xenophobia and violence and violate national and international laws, stripping people of their dignity, of their autonomy, of their freedom of speech, of movement, of assembly, and even censor the only space we have to breathe, the internet. We live in a world also that it has become acceptable to trade human rights for sanitary projects. The reality we live in is dangerous because our global leaders overlook it, perpetrate it, and even remain silent in front of injustice. But you know what? A wise man told me, the power of the people will always remain more powerful than people in power. And that's where change will come from, whether they like it or not. Uprisings, peaceful revolutions, youth movements in Tunisia, in Senegal, in Burkina Faso, in Kenya, in Nigeria, in Algeria, in Sudan, all across the world have decided. And when young people promise, young people deliver. The word we want is borderless. And the future we want is about dignity and freedom. And our generation will continue to be radical, disruptive, and challenge the status quo, because the current system does not work for us. And we will change it. We are already changing it. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to you, A, and thank you so much for being an inspiration. Now, goalkeepers, please help me welcome to the stage from UNICEF, our loyal partners from day one, the Executive Director, HENRIETTA FORE.
So on behalf of UNICEF, I'm proud to present the 2019 Progress Award. It celebrates the achievements of an individual who has advanced the SDGs using science and technology. All nominees are between the ages of 16 and 30. Imagine that. Imagine being a young person, in some cases not even old enough to vote, and you decide to solve one of the world's biggest problems. In fact, we're seeing an explosion of youth activism around the world. Climate strikes and students marching, campaigns to end conflicts, and the young people who've joined our Generation Unlimited partnership, calling for governments and businesses to support education and skills development. Tonight's winner, Gregory ROCKSON, exemplifies the commitment to take a stand, to make a difference, to change the world. As the co-founder of the CEO PHARMA, his software is revolutionizing how medical providers manage their supply chains, eliminate stockouts, and ultimately reduce drug prices. In a country where millions of families are forced to choose between paying for their child's medicine or paying for their child's food, his work is saving lives. So here's a bit more about him.
Traveler, storyteller. My name is Gregory ROCKSON, and I am a goalkeeper. African patients pay some of the highest prices for drugs in the world. On average, about 30 times someone in the UK will pay for that same drug. We built PHARMA to fix this. Not only are we making drugs more affordable and accessible, through our work, we take over, manage the supply chain and inventory of mom-and-pop pharmacies across the continent, so that these pharmacies never have to worry about whether they'll have enough drugs on their shelf to help their patients. Since 2017, more than 1 million patients have received their medication through PHARMA's network. The SDGs are important for the future as a statement on what we think a just world should look like. I believe it's possible for us to achieve Goal 3. I think that PHARMA is paving the way in our small way. Our core mission is to build an Africa that is in good health.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the 2019 Progress Award winner, Gregory ROCKSON.
Thank you very much. On April 30th of this year, a young man walking the streets of Lagos saw a free health screening taking place at a community pharmacy in his neighborhood. He had been experiencing severe chest pains, but could not afford to see a doctor until now. The health screening was his best opportunity to finally speak to a doctor about his pain. After his examination, the doctors realized that he needed more specialized care. So employees at the pharmacy put together some money and drove him to a hospital. 3 days later, he died from heart failure. The pharmacy that offered the free health screening was refurbished and transformed into a primary health care center by PHARMA. I wish we had done this earlier. While this young man did not get the care he needed soon enough, this experience inspired myself and the PHARMA team to work even harder to refurbish and transform more community pharmacies into primary healthcare centers across the continent. I believe that a world where a mother has to choose between medication for her health or education for her child is an unjust world. Through our work, PHARMA will ensure that each community in Africa has a pharmacy that is always well-stocked and that no one is denied the care they need because of how much money they have in their pocket. Thank you for this award. I hope it inspires a generation of young African entrepreneurs who will create solutions that can build an Africa in good health. Thank you.
Well done, Gregory. We applaud you. Now, tonight we've heard stories about progress in health and education, as well as partnerships. But I think, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get our shit together. And what I mean by that is that we need to take a moment and focus on global sanitation. It's not a glamorous issue. It's definitely not Instagram friendly. I'm not trying to have you, I'm going to give you ideas, all right. But it should be. But before we get into it, here's why. No round of applause? All right, I get it. All right, I'd now like to welcome to the stage Bill Gates. And then, no, I will finish my line. He is a man who has held a jar of human feces up on stage and has drunk water made from a pile of poop, all in the bold pursuit of safe sanitation. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Bill Gates.
Well, good evening. I don't have a jar of poop with me tonight, or even a jar of mosquitoes, but managing human waste is one of the world's oldest and toughest challenges. And I would say most leaders are not willing to talk about it, in part because the solutions aren't that easy. But we do have to talk about it. We hear a lot about malaria, and we should, because it's devastating and we're making progress. But sanitation-related illnesses kill more kids every year than malaria does. In 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced the Swachh Bharat mission, a program with the very ambitious goal of eliminating open defecation in India. Before the project, the government estimated that more than 500 million people were defecating in the open. But today, just 5 years later, thanks to the leadership of hundreds of thousands of people in communities across India, the vast majority now have access to safe sanitation. This progress is critical to achieving SDG 6 for water and sanitation, which is lagging far behind. While there is still more work to do to sustain this progress over the long run, we're already seeing the life-saving impact. India's Swachh Bharat mission is already serving as a model for other countries around the world that urgently need to improve access to safe sanitation for the world's poorest. That's why today I'm pleased to be presenting the Global Goalkeeper Award to Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the progress India is making in improving sanitation. We've got a film about the project that'll give you more about it, which I know you'll enjoy.
The year was 2014. The practice of open defecation, adopted over generations, had hardened into a deep-rooted habit, seldom questioned. And then someone did.
कि 2019 जब महात्मा गांधी की 150वीं जयंती बनाएंगे, हमारा गांव, हमारा शहर, हमारा गली, हमारा मोहल्ला, हमारी स्कूल, हमारे मंदिर, हमारे अस्पताल, सभी क्षेत्र गंदगी का नामो निशान नहीं रहने देंगे.
The world said it was an impossible dream. The challenges were too many, too big. The scale of the problem was so big that if India didn't eradicate this practice, the world would not be able to achieve SDG 6. A sense of urgency was critical for achieving the mission's goals. The stigma attached to having a toilet at home was a result of beliefs held for centuries by young and old alike. Going forward, the new behavior would have to be sustained to make it a habit, a norm. If scale was a challenge, the answer also lay in scale. Team Swachh Bharat worked at scale, making the mission a Jan Andolan, a true people's movement. Cooperative federalism between all levels of government, the PM, CM, DM, VM model, was critical in achieving the ambitious goals in a limited time frame. The stigma of having a toilet at home was addressed by triggering behavior change through the right communication, delivered at the right places and through known, trusted channels. To ensure sustainability, there are things that we must continue doing, areas we must continue investing in. And the results are already showing. This progress has also started generating positive impacts across sectors on the health of children and women, on household incomes, and on the environment.
I commend India for making the elimination of open defecation a priority at the highest level and throughout government. May I congratulate you, Prime Minister.
For the Swachh Bharat mission to succeed, despite all the challenges, the four key principles it was built on had to work well and work together. Political leadership, partnerships, public funding, and people's participation. And they did, making the Swachh Bharat mission the largest sanitation revolution in the world, to realize a century-old dream of the father of our nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this year's award winner to the stage, Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Mrs. and Mr. Gates,
Mrs. and Mr. Gates, Excellencies, friends,
आप सभी ने जो सम्मान दिया है,
my heartfelt gratefulness to all of you for this honor that has just been bestowed on me. This honor is not only for me, but for the millions of Indians who not only helped to fulfill the pledge of a Swachh Bharat or Clean India, but who also made it a part of their daily lives.
Bill or Melinda Gates
Receiving this award from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is very special for me for two other reasons. Firstly,
Swachh Bharat mission
as a partner of the Clean India mission, this foundation has been doing important work in the remote areas of India. Also,
Bill or Melinda Gates
the way Bill and Melinda Gates, after achieving many successes in their personal lives, are now contributing to social life. This is something that I have a lot of admiration for. Friends, receiving this award on Gandhi's 150th birth anniversary is, at a personal level, very important for me. It bears testimony to the fact that if the people's power of 1.3 billion Indians is mobilized to achieve any goal, then any challenge can be overcome. I recall 5 years ago, when I first talked about a clean India, there were all kinds of reactions. However, when we were keeping a target and an objective in mind, when there is commitment towards one's work, then such things are of no importance. What is important for me is 1.3 billion Indians coming together, their united efforts to make their country clean. What is important for me is the development of a mindset for cleanliness in 1.3 billion Indians. What is important for me is every single effort that 1.3 billion Indians made for a clean India. And therefore, I dedicate this award to all those Indians who transformed the Clean India mission into a people's movement, who started giving cleanliness the highest priority in their daily lives. Today, I remember the old lady who sold her sheep to build a toilet in the village. Today, I remember the retired teacher who donated his entire pension to build a toilet. Today, I remember the lady who sold her Mangal Sutra, the sacred necklace that identifies her as a married woman, to build a toilet in her home. Brothers and sisters, in recent times, such a campaign has been unheard of in any country. This campaign was no doubt started by our government. However, it is our people who took over the controls in their own hands. This is the reason that within a period of 5 years, we were able to build a record number of over 110 million toilets. It is for this reason that whereas in 2014, rural sanitation coverage was less than 40%, today it has gone up to close to 100%. Just think about it. 70 years after independence, it was only 40%. And in 5 years, close to 100%. However, I believe that the success of the Clean India mission goes well beyond any numbers. If there is any section of people this mission has benefited the most, it is the poor in the country, the women in our country. For those who have resources, building 2 or 3 toilets in a home is quite ordinary and quite normal. However, it is only those who are deprived of this amenity that understand very well what it means not to have a toilet. In particular, for women, daughters, sisters, not having a toilet is one of the biggest difficulties they face in their life. It goes against their pride, against their respect. Despite understanding this entire situation, the great importance of building a toilet in the home did not even enter people's minds. You can imagine that from the morning, the entire day, women used to wait for darkness to fall. Apart from all the diseases associated with open defecation, this waiting would result in other diseases for them. The lack of a toilet in schools would force girls to drop out and give up studying. Our daughters want to study, but the lack of a toilet obliged them to leave school and sit at home. It was the responsibility of our government to take poor women, daughters out of this situation, and we gave it our best efforts. We worked with total sincerity. Today, I am very satisfied about the fact that the Clean India mission has resulted in saving hundreds of thousands of lives. According to a report of the World Health Organization, the WHO, the Clean India mission has made it possible to save 300,000 lives. The same way, UNICEF has estimated that every family living in the village that is making a toilet will be able to save at least 50,000 rupees per year. I am told that in the report of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as well, it has been stated that the increase of rural sanitation coverage in India has reduced heart problems in children and improved the body mass index of women.
That a campaign, I recall, very appropriate, something that Mahatma Gandhi said, in which he had mentioned that he believes that cleanliness is more important than independence. I'm also very happy today that the dream that Mahatma Gandhi had of cleanliness is going to become a reality. Gandhiji used to say that an ideal village is that which is completely clean. And today, we are looking at making not just an ideal village, but an entire country that is ideal. Brothers and sisters, since the time of its inception, the main objective of the United Nations has been to make people's lives better. The Clean India campaign has not only made the lives of millions of Indians better, protected their dignity, but also played an important role in achieving the targets of the United Nations. I would like to remind you of another study conducted by UNICEF. I would like you to recall it. This report revealed that in the last 5 years, there has been a big improvement in groundwater quality, and I believe that a very large contribution in this is of the Clean India campaign. There is one more impact of the Clean India campaign which is not talked about much. During this campaign, the more than 110 million toilets that were constructed have opened a new avenue for economic activity at the rural level. The raw materials supplied for constructing the toilets and the work given to women as Rani Misri or women masons have provided new employment opportunities for many poor people at the ground level. Friends, the simple and straightforward meaning of democracy is that at the center of various arrangements and schemes should be the people. An empowered democracy is one where policies are made with a central focus on the needs of the people, and where the expectations and needs of the common people are on the same platform as the policies and decisions of the government. The people themselves make the scheme successful. You can see glimpses of the power of democracy in the Clean India campaign also. The success of the Clean India campaign is also an example of making an arrangement of the Constitution live. Friends, for decades, India had only seen constitutional federalism. Our government has tried to change it to cooperative federalism. And now, with time, we are moving towards making it a competitive cooperative federalism. The way different states have proactively taken part in this campaign, it has created awareness among people, constructed toilets, is certainly the states are worthy of praise. During this campaign, the central government made the state government a partner and stakeholder in every topic related with cleanliness. From training to funding, no stone has been left unturned. States have been given all possible assistance so that they may, at their own level and in their own way, give momentum to this campaign and fulfill their resolutions. Today, I'm happy that by way of the cleanliness survey, now there is a competition among states to rank higher than any other state in the cleanliness ranking.
Friends and
excellencies, I am also happy with this contribution of India to the world, and that is because we have always considered the world our family. For thousands of years, we have been taught that Udar Charitanam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It means that for people who think big, for the generous, the entire world is one single family. And so, India wants to play a role in international cooperation for sanitation and hygiene. We are ready to share our experiences and our expertise with other countries. India today is very close to achieving its goals. However, India is working at a fast pace or another very big mission also. Through the Fit India movement, a campaign to promote fitness and preventive healthcare is going on in India. We have set a target to make India tuberculosis-free by 2025, and we're also making fast progress in universal immunization. With the implementation of the National Nutrition Mission, India will soon be able to overcome problems like anemia and stunting. Under the Jal Jeevan, meaning the Water Life mission, our focus is on water conservation and recycling so that Indians keep getting a regular supply of sufficient and clean water. Further, India has also started a campaign to make India free of single-use plastics by 2022. Today, as I speak to you, the work of plastic waste collection is being carried out in several parts of India. Many such people movements are being carried out in India today. I have complete faith in the 1.3 billion Indians. Just like the Clean India campaign, the other missions will also be successful. With this belief, I would like to thank all my friends at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for this award, and to all other friends present here for listening to me. With this, I end my address. I dedicate this award to each and every Indian, and with this, I would like to thank you all.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister Modi. Now, tonight you've heard Aya's dream of an inspired and empowered Pan-African youth. You've heard Payal's dream of an India full of educated children and free child marriage, including child labor. You've also heard Gregory's dream of an Africa in good health. Altogether, our dream of a world without poverty is valid. Our dream of a world without climate change is valid. Our dream of a world free of inequality is valid. And our dream of a world without pineapple pizza is valid. Can I hear an amen? Amen. Now, we must continue to dream big, ladies and gentlemen. We must continue in the race towards 2030. We must continue because the global goals is the best plan on the planet, and we can help make them happen. Well, here's a film that we made back in 2015 that sets out why we can't and won't ever stop.